to eliminate your opportunity for offspring?
Well, I've done this by just simply agreeing that I'll never have sex again, which is not hard. Incredibly easy.
Not considering the women you attract.
I mean, I don't attract women. I have this idea for a game show. It's called Shark Tank. We take 5 people who have business ideas, right? We just ignore the business ideas, drop them in a Shark Tank. Whoever lives the longest gets to move on to the lightning round. Now, I know what you're wondering. What is the lightning round?
Oh, wait, what is the lightning round?
Well, we wrap them in aluminum foil, put them out in the middle of a field during a lightning storm, and see who survives that.
Makes perfect sense. It's a lightning round.
Whoever survives that gets a brand new Prius.
Apparently, it's dressed like the other guy today on Drunk Talk.
I'm going for David Duchovny with HIV.
You've lost an awful lot of weight. And when I say an awful lot, I'm thinking 300-400 pounds.
I have an idea for a business.
What a surprise.
It's a buffet. And basically this buffet would appraise you on the way in. Like you, for instance, would be $8.35. It would go as high as $20.
For a documentarian, for example, with a liberal bias?
We'd go, no, he's not unwritable. We'd appraise you at the door. And then when you get in, we'd have coolers who would, keep the profit up. Basically, people would come to your table and say things like, really? More? You sure? Alright, it's cool. It's cool, 60 carbs per serving, whatever, fat ass. Anyway, we're just gonna keep walking. And they would just, cool you down from eating, which would increase our profit margin.
That's much better than my idea of a cooler who would spontaneously throw up mid-course during your first round, hopefully putting you off to the idea of getting seconds.
We could do that too. And, we have a really smug, bouncer who's like, come back with some anorexic bitches, then I'll let you in. And this all goes hand in hand with my other business idea.
Oh, do tell.
It's called the Stragglers Club. It is a club that opens at 5 a.m. and closes until shit gets just too sad. It is everybody just can't give up. They're not getting laid. They're just going to stay out all night. That is the Stragglers Club. Doesn't even serve booze.
What does it offer? A place to commiserate?
A placebo. You think you're getting booze.
It plays nothing but Tom Waits in the background, and you can try to live off of hope. Mostly it's a diet of despair.
I've tried to live off hope, and it's tough.
She is a really nasty bitch.
I've eaten some vagina lately that tastes quite a lot like lasagna, and I'm not making that up.
New sexual activity that you're experimenting with?
No, it's just vagina. It tastes a lot like lasagna.
I really am kind of disturbed because lasagna is primarily cheese.
No, not that. Not that part. Well, anyway.
Meat sauce? Seriously, what's with the age of consent laws?
If she can bleed,
you know what's actually
probably breed.
You know what's seriously fucked up? I happen to know the age of consent in Illinois is 17. Don't judge. And if you were to do a little bit of, shall we say, sexting mid-coitus with your legal age of consent, technically, girlfriend or sheep, then you actually have produced child pornography because it is pornography.
18.
If it's right. So kids who sext each other, as it turns out, are creating child pornography. To me, that is a simultaneously wonderful and disturbing thought.
You bang a prostitute, right? Which I'm sure you do all the time. You bring a camera, you're no longer paying for sex, you're making a porno. You found a loophole in the system.
Because you are now a paid actor.
Speaking of being a paid actor, we came up with a sitcom involving you. And it's a sitcom, let's be clear. It's called Bandura. You travel the streets in a van that has no windows.
Hello.
And you teach children lessons in your van. What exactly are you teaching them? And why are they in the van so long?
And why does the van lock from the outside? There's all kinds of questions to be asked, and hopefully never answered.
Bandura. It's better not to know.
What did you go as for Halloween?
A stripper.
You did, didn't you? I saw it. It was really kind of gross.
It wasn't really kind of gross. It was actually incredibly sexy. We'll just go with that.
Oh my god. The idea of you naked.
You've never seen my penis erect.
Do you have a gallon of dye also?
I mean, if you saw my penis erect, then you'd be in on this.
So I've been thinking about starting a sex advice column. People apparently have trouble dating, and they turn to me for advice.
Yeah, I know. You know, other people do.
Yeah, no, I don't either. I've never had a dry spell. People might want dating tips. So, for example, what kinds of clever things could you say to a young lady?
First, tell her that she's on a short list of 7 people who he'd be willing to plow for a very short period of time. That'll let her know that you're not desperate. You've got a lot of bitches in your, what's it called, stable. You don't want to let her know that.
She is one of at least millions that you would consider copulating with, hoping not to inseminate. And if you say it like that, you're in.
Let her know you're always a gentleman and will pay for that fucking abortion.
It's useful to establish terms and conditions. Like if you like to play rough, then you should use a safe word.
The safe word is the thing you ignore the first 3 or 4 times. Let her know you're alpha. That's a shit test. Alright? She says the safety word. She expects you to plow through that.
I think that if you actually give in to her demands, like, stop, please, you're raping me, that all of a sudden you've completely failed her notion of what masculinity is.
Masculinity is saying, listen, this is going to take 35 seconds. It's going to be incredibly painful. You're going to hate it. Suck it up. Let's face it. If we all just gave in the safety words, half of us wouldn't be here.
The way I look at it is, she's basically saying, you've taken me to the same happy place that my uncle did when I was 9.
First of all, if I was choking you, how were you talking? Alright? Apparently I'm not doing a very good job at choking you. Let's be fair.
I always like to take responsibility when I'm having sex. I like to ensure that there's ample duct tape to set the mood.
What's the deal with rent, by the way? Every fucking month, you could be a demotivational speaker. It's basically like being like Tony Robbins, except instead of doing that thing where you come in with the high five and you like give everyone, you just come in and you go, listen, pizza face, hook nose, bitch tits. Let me tell you something. None of you are going anywhere. You're all a bunch of fucking losers. And people who are very successful would go there to stay grounded.
That's brilliant. You know what's amazing? I have a complete knack for pointing out people's faults and foibles. It's like this job has been calling to me my entire lifetime. By the way, have you put on weight lately? You look like a much less attractive version of Matt Damon with cerebral palsy.
Well, we could have a talk show called Narcissist on Narcissist. Here's how it works. I interview you, but as I'm interviewing you, I'm actually talking about what's so great about me, and then you try to take the spotlight from me. So for instance, so I hear you know this guy.
Hang on a second. I have more important things to do on the other end of the screen.
Let me assure you something, and this is a guarantee. I am inebriated, alright?
Would you please take your feet down off of your table?
A lot of people like to pretend they're independent when they're trust fund kids. I'm independent, but I like to pretend I'm a trust fund kid.
Right?
It's like, let me tell you what my parents did for me.
You know,
My white trash parents.
that whole pretending to be poor thing is really cool, but what is less cool is when you're just plain poor. That's funny, the girl I'm seeing evaluates every purchase in terms of how many dances she can sell. You're supposed to get her to strip it down and then put them on the glass. You don't put her whole body weight on it, the tits. You grease up the titties, you put them on the glass, and then you go underneath and you're like, oh my god, flattened titties. It's the best thing I've ever seen.
I don't really see how that's attractive. It's sort of like saying, I could take your vagina, shove a glass over it, and it would become rounder. I found the only way sex is enjoyable if I completely analyze every possible action, period. Like for starters, why am I sucking on your tits? Nothing's gonna come out. Why don't I just skeet on the wall? Just to be safe. I could skeet on your face, but I'm not entirely sure how biology works. In fact, I have a box, a magical box that displays pictures of naked women whenever I want to do. Why are you here? Minimum wage is like saying, hey, your car must be sold for $5 grand. My car's only worth $1 grand. Well, it's gonna sell for $5. It's like, No, it won't sell for $5 because it's worth $1,000. You are worth $6.50 an hour, and you will get fucking $6.50 an hour. That's it. Period.
You know who's exempt from minimum wage, don't you?
Hipsters.
Hipsters. Tip-based employees.
Oh, that too. I was gonna say Columbia College graduate. Hold on, let me do some math here. $90,000 in debt. $9 an hour at Starbucks.
Whatever happened to indentured servitude and debtors' prisons? That was brilliant. I mean, like, if you failed to pay your debt, I believe that Governor and future President Rick Perry, I'm prognosticating, will turn this country into what it once was, a barren wasteland covered in ice.
I like lactating mom feet. That's what I'm into. And they gotta be lactating, and they gotta see feet. See, they have sex offender registries.
Oh my God, if they had sex offense victim registries,
you could go door to door, pussy. By the way, when's there going to be a class action lawsuit against Jolly Ranchers for all the rape that's happened? We all know candy's the best way to get kids in your van. You know this.
Actually, I think I just came up with a brilliant way to satiate my sexual urges and solve the overpopulation problem.
All these niggas and all these hoes, somebody up here gonna fuck.
Oh, I wish I were gay. If I could get it up for a dude, it'd be so awesome because it'd be like, hey Eric, you good to go? No.
Yeah,
hey Rich, you good to go? Fine, done. Now I gotta sit there and spend all this time chatting her up, buying her roofies.
So I have a brilliant idea for how to promote a band.
Yes, please.
Call the band Lost Dog. You'll be able to put flyers everywhere without them getting taken down. And people will talk for miles about, like, you know how good Lost Dog is. That's a pretty fucking good band. Not as good as Missing Child. Which brings me to my other idea for a television show. It's called Drunk Cab. It's similar to Cash Cab, except you get 37 cents per mile that you let an Armenian with a .30 blood alcohol content drive you.
Oh, dude.
To Vegas.
We would make it there and back, and I would be rich or dead.
And there's the lightning round, where you're forced to wear aluminum foil and go on to it.
You know, in Japan, they have all kinds of humiliating and painful variety shows to put people into excruciating situations and then see how they deal with it. Mine is anal umbrella insertion.
Now, on anal umbrella insertion, what exactly happens?
Let me explain the premise, because I know it's a little bit unclear.
Now, is the umbrella open?
I don't know, let me check.
I kissed a girl and I liked it. Let me tell you something. Women were put on this world to be belittled. Leviticus 20:24. Herman Cain or Sarah Palin?
I've seen the video production Nailin' Palin. The only person I would vote for henceforth would be someone I could masturbate to. As a result, Herman Cain.
I mean, I could totally masturbate to a black guy cooking pizza. Nude. You'd have to be nude. I'm not talking cocksock. I'm talking nude. Not that cocksock doesn't turn me on. That's not election material. Who would you rather do? Me or someone who looked exactly like me? I would fuck software.
Really?
I would fuck it. So
I think you probably do 5 to 7 times a day based on your internet usage and your website browsing history. Without the combination of feet, excessively large, borderline misshapen surgical modifications, and actually just a ton of body ink.
no, you gotta have a cop out.
You gotta have a cop outfit. Name event. Without all of that convergence of stimulus, I am so flaccid that I think that anti-Viagra wouldn't even be necessary.
Let me tell you something. Anti-Viagra is one of the best hypothetical ideas I ever came up with. Can't be pleasured by 2 inches of flaccid dick? If hell existed, I'd rather be there, because that's where the action happens. You've been up to absolutely nothing in your life other than being a pretend Snake Plissken. What's that been like?
By the way, you should have seen me on Halloween as though you hadn't, hypothetically.
Let's pretend I had. Oh, by the way, I saw another Snake Plissken this weekend.
That's awesome.
And I told one of them, I go, hey, so 3 people have called you out this weekend? He's like, yeah, man, no one gets it. And he was like really dead on. He had the coat perfect.
Really?
Fancy Pussy. He's like, oh no, not Jimbo. I know you prefer to be called Jimbo. What else has been going on in your life? We all want to know. You stay up sometimes for 12 hours straight like a normal human being.
Sometimes.
How do you manage?
Well, I take naps in between.
Trying is the first step to failure. Alright? No one can ever say I failed.
It's amazing to me what you can do without a pair of pants, but with a trench coat.
Dude, what else is a mindfuck? When someone with a really small dick starts raping your ear. That is a mindfuck.
If they do it right.
I fucked a 600-pound woman the other day. 4'8", and 60 by 20 jeans. And I didn't care. Let me tell you something. She had a vagina. Probably. Felt like a vagina. Might have been a fold. You go on my Facebook. Almost every woman I'm not related to is my friend who comments on my shit. I've had sex with her. Like, there's my phone.
I know, because you have like 3.5 friends who are able to make comments because you had sex with all of 3 women and that midget.
DVDA is not possible. It could happen.
I don't know.
Double vaginal, double anal. With enough coordination, I can make this shit go down.
I just wish that picture wouldn't have been put into my blonde, emaciated, kind of ugly. Most certainly into himself. Madonna.
Why wouldn't I be in my